my YouTube channel, which is called, you go to YouTube and then there's the search field there, and then you just plug in Charles Lamson, that's all one word, Charles Lamson apostrophe S, Charles Lamson's webcam video. Yeah, Charles Lamson's webcam video. And yeah, you'll see. Wow, man, I am blaring on this mic, ain't I? Okay, let me turn the mic down a little bit here. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, you go there and you go to my channel. You'll see hello, check 1 2, check 1 2. All right, I'll turn it down a little bit here. But yeah, I think well, it looks like a good range. Anyway, yeah, if you go there, you'll see a bunch of clips from previous shows, and also see some clips of me and my buddies playing music together. We sort of grew up playing music together, and we've done shows here and there throughout the years, just regional type stuff or just hillbillies, but we like to get liquored up and play music. What the hell else you gonna do with your time, right? You gotta be creative. You gotta have a creative play, as Freeman would say. So, alright, so yeah, go check out those YouTube videos. They're awesome. And what else? Okay, yeah, I was going to give you all the call-in number. Let me dig that up here real fast. Strangers in the night, exchanging land. Oh, okay, here we go. 917-932-8806. That is 917-932-8806. And yeah, feel free to call in. I'll be checking the switchboard about every 10 minutes or so. So yeah, it just I only have one computer over here, so I have about 90 windows open. I'm trying to multitask and do the YouTube stuff, and so, but still, I make it a point to check that that switchboard every 10 minutes or so. So if I leave you hanging for a couple of minutes, just please be patient. I will get to your call. But that being said, I'd like to go check out the switchboard right now, just to make. Every now and then, you get an early bird caller, pissed off about something. They want to just rant and rave, and that's what Hey, if that's what you want to do, do it. That's what this show's all about, man. That's why it's called the rant. So you get all mad and scream and yell. Man, that's good water. I love that fluoridated water, ladies and gentlemen. I just love it. It makes me feel all docile and warm and fuzzy inside. Okay, so yeah, I also wanted to mention the chat, and if you guys, you listeners, you want to hang out in the chat room with us, it would be a blast. We're starting to get a few more people that are filing their way into the chat room now, and we have some interesting discussions in there. And if you want to check out the chat, you go to blogtalkradio.com/Charles Lamson. And that'll take you to my Blog Talk Radio site, and you just hit the chat link there, and you're in, man. So I'm just going to check out the chat right now, see if anybody's there, so I can yell and scream at them. I see a guest, 3489. I just want to say hi to the guest, 3489. Thanks for coming by, dude. Yeah, if you just want to hang out, I will actually be coming in during the breaks and stuff, and saying hi. So just want to thank you for dropping by. And yeah, just while I'm actually gabbing, I can't really chat that much, but well, he took off. Oh, I scared him away. Well, how do you like that? I'm a very intimidating person, I suppose, but no, I'm just joking. No, I'm not, but anywho. Alright, let's get on with the show, shall we? The Brotherhood of the Snake. Sounds very ominous, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Oh, wow. Let me dig up my notes here. Okay. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, thousands of years had passed since the battles between the two priest castes. And these battles there were two. Okay, yeah. So we go back to Atlantis, just as a little recap. We go back to Atlantis, all right, and everything was fine and dandy for a while there because all the scientists, they were all sort of divinely inspired, and you know, back then, I mean, according to all the legends, you know, it was like you couldn't even become a science, or they wouldn't even reveal the secrets, the weird scientific secrets, unless they felt you know, you were spiritually worthy enough to handle it. But what ends up happening is students, initiates who had not yet completed their training with their masters, started taking on positions of power and teaching people and getting a hold of the secrets. And so these people started grasping for power and you know, money and power and sex and drugs and rock and roll. And what ends up happening is that two priest castes develop, two powerful priest castes develop in Antarctica. Now, a lot of people think this Antarctica thing, it happened all at once, but the fact of the matter is, for thousands of years, these two priest castes were battling in Atlantis. And so after a while, the whole magic era had been forgotten. The whole magic era of Atlantis had been forgotten, and it started devolving into more of the kind of civilization we have now, where it was like the guys who hold the most secrets were the most powerful, and they were the most ruthless, bloodthirsty bastards, and you know, they didn't really know anything about being selfless and that type of thing. And another thing that really caused the downfall was they started hoarding the knowledge. One thing that kept everybody even and kept it all peaceful there was everybody had access to most of this knowledge, you know. So, but when they started keeping a lot of the secrets away from, or they started making all this stuff secret from the common folk, Atlantis started falling into a state of spiritual decline. Now, so entire civilizations have been guided by this Brotherhood of the Snake. And as I mentioned on Monday's show, what the Brotherhood of the Snake is. Okay. They separate because before the sinking of Atlantis and before humanity got kicked out of paradise. I've already been over this. I'm going to recap it real fast though. But before humanity got kicked out of paradise, human beings were created to be fifth-dimensional beings. We once exist. Now, I know this sounds like wacky and new age, but this is all really, I mean, this can all really be backed up by science. I mean, not the fact that humans, but I mean that there actually is a fifth dimension and a sixth dimension and a seventh dimension. And I think physicists are now saying that, you know, there are as many as 11 dimensions. So, you know, if we live in a third-dimensional reality, why is it so impossible to think that there are beings that live in a fifth-dimensional reality? That being said, a lot of these occult organizations believe that, yeah, humanity, when we were first created, because we were created more in the image of God, you know, so we were more advanced in the beginning, and we were actually fifth-dimensional beings. But when we had our fall from grace, we actually got kicked out of when we got kicked out of paradise, we got kicked out of the fifth dimension. And we descended into a third-dimensional reality, a three-dimensional reality. And when we got kicked into this three-dimensional reality, that's when we started noticing polarities. Black, white, right, wrong, evil, good, me, you. Yeah, that's when people started feeling a sense of separateness as well. So, that's where this Brotherhood of the Snake comes in, because what happens is two brotherhoods arise, and they represent both sides of the poles. They represent the two sides of polarity, and so yeah, on one side you have the Illuminati, sun worshippers. What else? Yeah, in Tibet they're known as the Order of the Red Dragon. And what? Yeah, and these guys are all about the world of matter, accumulating worldly goods. They call themselves the master builders as well. Constructing matter into their the images that they see fit. So. And then, also, these guys are sort of the outward manifestation or the outward representatives of Shambhala. And then the other side of the Brotherhood of the Snake is called the Luminari, and they're associated with moon worship. And they're more of a feminine nature, and they're more interested in developing the spirit and things of a spiritual nature. They're anti-materialist, in other words. And yeah, these guys are supposed to be representatives of Agartha. And yeah, in Tibet, they are the Order of the Yellow Dragon. Yeah, interestingly enough, you go to Tibet still to this day, and they have the Order of the Red Caps and the Order of the Yellow Caps, and that dates all the way back to that antediluvian time. So, like I said, entire civilizations have been guided by this Brotherhood of the Snake, who in turn are guided by extraterrestrials, archangels, avatars, whatever you want to call it. And of course, yeah, they're heavily influenced by Shambhala and Agartha. Now, the significance of this is that these are two very, very advanced civilizations reported to be in the planet's core, or some type of subterranean civilizations. And they are direct descendants of ETs that came and settled the planet's core before it was actually, the surface was actually, before organic life could actually live on the surface. And so when the angels fell from grace and they wanted to start breeding, they started procreating with human women, they were not only kicked out of heaven, but the gates to Shambhala and Agartha were also closed, because they can't. If you can't follow orders, man, if you can't if you can't follow orders, you can't be part of the Space Brotherhood, or you can't hang out in Shambhala and Agartha. You gotta follow a strict non-interventionist policy. Otherwise, you'll bring them all down, and I guess that's the theory behind that. But so, okay, in ancient Egypt, the Brotherhood of the Snake had been in power for a long time. The conflict between the two brotherhoods of Shambhala and Agartha rose up time and time again in Egypt, where, Agartha would be ruling for a while, which, like I said, they're associated with the Luminari, or the more spiritual-centered people, and then for a while they'd be taken over by the Illuminati, the Order of the Red Dragon, the people who are more interested in the material side of things. Yeah, this stuff is really, really complex, but if you join any kind of mystery school or anything like that, they drill all this weird history into your head. So it's even if it is mythology, it's an very, very interesting myth. But so in ancient Egypt, yeah, the Brotherhood had been in power for a long time, and like I said, ultimately these two groups form one brotherhood. These two groups, Shambhala, Agartha,